Alright. So I also want to echo the thank you. There's a whole lot of hours put in by citizens here, task force, the group. Also, all the citizens in the community that gave us their input, that we sorted through email, phone calls, memos, and open house. A lot of people have vested interest because either they live on the street, or they use the street, or they live on or near the street. So, presenting the task force, I'm going to go through what our assignment was, what our deliverables are, some additional topics that is important to the task force to cover, and then there's reference to supporting documentation. We do the best presenting this with it to my back, so I have my own copy here. So our assignment, catch the next slide. This is from Kai Johnson. Our assignment was to oversee a resident-driven process, open to discovery, like Paul mentioned, marked by community access from start to finish. Our job was to reach out to the community and ensure broad engagement and capture the residents' feedback about the Wilson Drive corridor. Okay. So the steering committee, our plan was to, or our charter was to develop and implement a communication plan, and I'll show you that. And the purpose of the communication plan is to ensure public participation. We were to provide oversight and guidance to the work groups that we formed, review their findings of the work groups, and then organize scenarios for public comment and review. The work groups specifically there's 4 of them. One was for development, parks and recreation, traffic and safety, and environmental. The work groups, and you get questions through here, there aren't. The work groups charters were to identify, within their work group, identify and gather data and information as needed, specific to their work group, engage subject matter experts as necessary, and then identify those priorities or requirements or ideas, concerns, possibilities specific to their work group, and offer some scenarios, whether to keep the road as is, or configure, or create a new space. So that was the work groups. And then the approach developed by the steering committee, because we did have to define our approach to the assignment. We wanted citizen involvement, we wanted to gather concerns and interests. That's how we grouped the data that we collected. We wanted to convert that to apply those to some ideas. We came up with 4 concepts, and then we used a consultant to provide an assessment, because we are not road professionals by any means. So what we hired MSA to do, and Stephen will speak here a little bit, is not design a road with the exact attributes that we need or want or desire, but it's to get a feeling for what it could be. In order to make those designs, we would need a lot more data and professional panel to put that together. So moving on is the community involvement and communication. We had a communication plan where we identified all the stakeholders and our channels to communicate to those stakeholders. We used the website of the village task force. We're creating an email address specific for this task force, so anyone in the village could send us their information and it came into the committee. We held a very successful open house meeting in June and received tremendous feedback on our ideas and concepts and concerns and interests and opinions across the village. We had a meeting with the property owners that are on Wilson Drive, and though the task force is not an official body of the village, we did draft a letter to Whitefish Bay and did not receive a response. We tried to get everyone we could on the communication plan that we drafted with a sample of an Excel spreadsheet on how we mapped out who the stakeholders are and how to contact them. Our primary deliverables. So this is where I go back to that approach that I talked about. Our approach is to gather concerns and interests of the public, to turn those into ideas of how to meet those concerns, come up with 4 concepts, and provide an assessment by a third party, which is MSA, on the feasibility of those concepts, or do they meet the concerns and interests, and then offer up some design elements. So we're not delivering a road design, we're not saying this is how it should be. We're trying to give feedback from the citizens of what we learned from this process. So what you see next will be from each work group, from each work group, you can click through these, I'm sorry, I moved a lot faster than the slide. I'm going to go through some of the concerns and interests from the work groups. So there's a lot more behind this. We summed it into what could fit on one slide we talked about. So from Park and Recreation, so there's CNI, stands for Concerns and Interests. We used a technique on our last meeting where it's not voting, but you click, I think, one more time the slide there, Chris. You get some bubbles on the chart. And that meant there's more interest in that from the people that were in the room that day than on some of the other ones. So it's meant to, it's not a vote, it's meant to show where the interest is gathered. There's a list of things here, and you'll see they ring similar. For Park and Recreation, we want to preserve usable space. We want to consider accessibility to and from the park and the trail. Be able to see the park from Wilson Drive. Real concern about pedestrian crossing Wilson Drive and bicycle safety. And promoting physical, emotional, and health benefits of green space. So quality of life for children for Parks and Recreation. The next committee is development, and if you click that once more, you'll see some more blue dots show up. So development can mean a number of things. In this case, it's not building of residential or commercial buildings. It's public art space, and I'll show you here. So making something that is appealing and attractive as an entrance or a gateway to the park, whether that's, there could be a number of things, space for public art, the safety of bicyclists, access, ADA, things that will be required by law to create a sidewalk. Creating some visual access to the park, native fauna and flora, so removing invasive species, all weather use, so it's active space, stormwater management, responsible taxpayer money use, and again, enabling the community to enjoy the space. One of the concerns is also the traffic spillover. We want to minimize people going around Wilson Drive if we make Wilson Drive configured a little different. The neighbors that live on those streets are concerned about the increase in traffic. Moving on to traffic and safety, which you have, and if you're reading the dots, it's good and distracting while I go through this. The Traffic and Safety Committee, very concerned about ADA access to park entrances. Today there's very few safe ways to get into the park, especially if you have a stroller or a wheelchair. Maintaining traffic flow, so again, keeping traffic on Wilson Drive and not making them go around. Bicycles, creating space for bicycles. Trying to keep traffic to the posted speed limit such that it's safe to cross. A huge part of this is pedestrian safety. If you've ever tried to cross Wilson Drive, there's more than one car on it. And then accessible bus stops and student parking, sufficient parking for businesses that are there. Only two lanes. So moving on to the last group, the fourth work group, which is environmental, preserving biodiversity. The bubbles.
Bubbles.
One more bubble. Thank you for the bubbles. So from the environmental group, it's maintaining the quality of that green space through preservation and improvements, removing invasive species, maintaining trees, adding gardens such as butterfly or raised bed, maintaining habitats for birds and animals, stormwater management through things such as permeable pavement or bioswales, planting more trees, managing snow, and maybe adding some signage. I'll call it educational engagement that has to do with the environment in that space. So that wraps up the concerns and the interests. What we try to do in this next chart is show you that there's tremendous overlap between each of the work groups. To sum that up in a pretty pie graph here, a lot of interest in keeping green space, a lot of interest in keeping improving the safe access, whether it's into the park, across the street, down the street on a bicycle versus anything but being in a car. And then the third is about traffic flow. So keeping traffic flowing and keeping it on Wilson Drive, not into the neighborhoods. So how we got all this was through open house and emails and ideas contributed. There were over 150 forms of feedback generated by the working groups. And all the notes and the layouts. Safe access and turning are some of the examples where they had a left turn lane. How does that look for the environment? Permeable parking versus roadways. For fines, whether or not to use a tip. There's many, many ideas that were put on the table. Overwhelmingly, the number related to the use of the public space. If you're going to touch this road, let's create some space for public art and things that the public can use. Today, you can't really use that space in Wilson Drive. So here's where I'm going to introduce our Stephen from MSA, the firm that we hired. We turned to a consultant, like I mentioned, to come up with what scenarios could be with different design elements in them. We gave him some guidance of what the task force was chartered to do. Tried to explain that to him in a very quick way. He's a professional, we're not. We stumbled a little bit, doing the best we can. I'm going to have him go through the 4 scenarios and some of the design elements, and like he did for the steering committee afterwards, and then I'll wrap it up. You want to come on up to the microphone?
You want me to do it now? That's fine. There's another presentation. I have a few more images, if you don't mind. That works. It'd be good to see the little section.
Oh, yeah.
So, could you, sorry, put that on you. Put the background. Or I can come up there.
You can come find your...
Sure.
While we're getting that, presentation set, there was one other group that I
Stephen, T-R-E-M-L-E-T.
I neglected to acknowledge early on, and we did by design have 2 of our board members on the task force as liaisons to the board, trustees Maher and Menta. I wanted to acknowledge and thanks to you guys for
So I'm Steve Tremblett with MSA. I'm an urban designer. I went to UW Milwaukee for architecture and planning. I've been practicing for 8 or 9 years. I have civil engineering, our team, so I work with traffic engineers, stormwater engineers. And so I definitely come more with the idea of streetscaping, the safety parts, and I work with them hand in hand. So if you want to jump a couple slides, I'll keep this quicker then, because they kind of talked about it. So this is the first scenario. So I was tasked to look at about 3 block area. The idea was to look at 3 intersections that would be a prototypical stretch of Wilson Drive. So we looked from Kensington, Congress, to Sheffield. So what you'll see here is first there's an image of 3D looking of a typical section.
We're looking south right now.
Correct. You're looking south in front of Congress. Correct. And then I'll show a 2D plan and talk a little bit more about some of the elements. So the first one was to use the existing pavement, 56 feet, but to incorporate some best practice to improve safety, bikeability, aesthetics. So what I was looking at, one of it is, it's a wide road, so how can we kind of shrink it down a little bit and also maybe give some advantage to maybe possibly stormwater infiltration. So you'll see the red in the parking areas. I was suggesting that it could be permeable pavers that creates a little bit of separation, brings it down, and then you put in bike lanes. Right now it is a shared bike and parking lane, so this gives more designation for the bikes. So you move forward. One, please. So here's the wider view of the 3 blocks. You can see that we talked about there's certain access points that works well with the trail right now, and one of them is Congress, and as well as showing that they'll be paved eventually down the way of Kensington. But the main one I felt Congress to kind of show some additional crossing habits here. So one of it is bump outs. I'm not saying that it has to be in every intersection, but that's something we looked at, is reducing it at least at the intersections. And then as well as you'll see in all of them, looking at Woodruff and Congress, that intersection is pretty wide and kind of flows continuously. It's a little bit outside specifically of the project, but did want to note that I'm showing a little bit of additional tears.